So now we are going to see the internal choice, that is the OR option for this question. So this also consists of sub question A, B and C. First we'll start with A. In women, how does a fertilized egg develop into an embryo in the uterus? So once the fertilization takes place, then it forms a zygote, and how it will develop into embryo, that we have to explain. So as I told, this whole ABC is going to carry 5 marks. So we have to explain this answer at least in 3 to 4 sentences. And these answers try to write in points. So the point number 1, fertilization. What is fertilization? The sperm fuse with egg in the fallopian tube to form zygote. So as I have told, if this is the fallopian tube and this is the uterus, so see here, roughly I am drawing the diagram. So this is a ovary. So we have 2 ovaries in human female. This is uterus. This is fallopian tube. So as I have already explained in my another video, so every month one ovary releases an egg. This process is called as ovulation. This egg will remain in the fallopian tube for 24 hours. If the sexual contact takes place and if the sperm enters, it travels towards the fallopian tube and fuses with this egg, and fertilization takes place and it forms zygote, and this whole process is called as fertilization. So the first step is fertilization. Sperm fuses with an egg in the fallopian tube to form zygote. Now this zygote is ready. Now see the next. Cell division. The zygote begins to divide repeatedly. The division process is called mitosis. As it moves towards the uterus, it forms a ball of cell. So once the zygote formation takes place, let me take the blue color. Now imagine this is the zygote. Slowly it travels towards the uterus, and while traveling, it continuously divides. So now it is 1, it becomes 2. It becomes ball of 3 cells. It becomes ball of 4. Next, more and more, and it becomes a ball of cell. So here, it becomes a ball of cell, and this division of a single cell into number of cell, this process is called as mitosis. Now like this process, mitosis takes place and that ball of cell travel towards the uterus. Now the next point, implantation. This ball of cell reaches the uterus and attaches itself to the thick inner lining of the uterus. This process is called as implantation. So whenever ovulation takes place, uterus wall will get itself ready with the blood vessels and the muscles to implant the zygote or the embryo which is coming from the fallopian tube. So already this wall of the uterus is ready. Now once this ball of cell reaches to the uterus, it get implanted, means itself get attaches to this to in the thick wall of this uterus, and this attaching itself into the thick wall of uterus, this process is called as implantation. Now the next, embryo formation. After implantation, the cell continues dividing and differentiating. The developing structure is now called embryo. Once it gets implanted into the uterus wall, it continuously divides and forms more and more number of cells. And that stage of the cell, this ball of cell, it is called as embryo. So now this is embryo. Sorry, embryo. Now the next, placenta formation. A special organ called the placenta develops to provide food and oxygen to the growing embryo and removes waste. So once this embryo gets implanted into the uterus wall, it started growing, and to grow this embryo it requires food as well as oxygen, and also whatever waste it will produce, that waste also has to be removed out, and to do this work the special organ will develop which is called as placenta. Placenta, it is a disc shaped cell, the connection between this developing embryo and the thick wall of the uterus. So whatever food or oxygen this developing embryo wants, that all will be supplied from this placenta, from the mother's blood to this developing embryo, as well as whatever waste products are produced into this embryo, those all will be removed out, and that process also will be done with the help of placenta, and this waste will be mixed with the mother's blood, and if through mother's blood, it will be filtered and removed out. So through mother's blood, the embryo, growing embryo, is going to get the food and oxygen. Also, it is going to remove the waste which is produced in the embryo. So this is the answer of question A, sub-question A. Now we'll see sub-question B. Is surgical contraception a better method of contraception than physical contraception? Justify your answer. So we have two methods for contraception. One is surgical and one is called physical. So here they are saying surgical contraception is a better method than physical. We have to explain the statement. Justify the statement. So see the answer. First, we will see about surgical contraception, then we will see physical. So, surgical contraception means what? Example, vasectomy and tubectomy. Surgical means surgery. A small surgery is done in case of males, that is called vasectomy, where the small part of the vas deferens is tied to avoid the movement or the transfer of sperm into the female body. In case of females, the fallopian tube will be tied. That is called tubectomy. So here fallopian tube will be tied to avoid the contact fusion of sperm and egg. And this is a small surgery, so it is called surgical contraception. It is a permanent method. So here we are doing the surgery. We are cutting the part of vas deferens and fallopian tube in males and females respectively. So it is a permanent method. It is very effective in preventing pregnancy. As it is a permanent method, it will not allow the sperm to fuse with the egg, and therefore it is an effective method in preventing pregnancy. Suitable for couples who do not want more children. It requires a minor surgery and usually cannot be reversed easily. As it is a surgical method, we cannot reverse easily. Now what about physical barrier or physical contraception? Example, using condoms. It is a temporary method. It prevents sperm from reaching egg. It also protects against sexually transmitted diseases, that is STDs. So STD is the short form and the full form is sexually transmitted diseases. It cannot be used when needed and has no permanent effect. So I hope you understood this. So by seeing this answer, we can tell that surgical contraception is a better way than a physical contraception. So this is the answer for sub-question B. Now we will see sub-question C. Now the sub-question C is write the function of testes in human male reproductive system. Very simple question. So what are the functions of testis? Testis is the reproductive part in male. The function is the first one production of sperms and the second one secretion of male hormone. So first one we'll see testis produce male gametes called sperms which are necessary for fertilization. So this is the main function of the testis which is producing male gamete which is called as sperms, and these are the sperms which will help for fertilization. Second one, secretion of male hormone. Testis produce hormone called testosterone which controls the development of male reproductive organs. So we have studied that secondary sexual characters will be developed with the help of this hormone called testosterone and brings about secondary sexual characters like deep voice, growth of beard and mustache and muscle development. So at a particular age in boys we can see change in the voice, development of the beard and mustache as well as muscle development, shoulder development, chest development. These all the changes takes place at a particular age whenever, and these changes are called as secondary sexual characters, and these characters will be shown with the help of testosterone hormone, and this is the hormone which is secreted by this testis. So these are the two important functions of testis in human male reproductive system. So here this is the answer for question C. Here I have completed the answer for A, B and C. And with this question I have completed the solution of part C biology for this model question paper 4 for the year 2025 and 26. So with this I have completed all 4 model question papers for this year. I hope these all the papers will help you to prepare for your final exam. Watch my videos, practice these all the maximum questions from these all the question papers will be repeated for the final exam. If you like my videos, share my videos with all your friends, and if you are getting little bit also help from these all the videos, then please consider subscribing my channel. Thank you so much.